Lochani. Lochani. Ninjani. Skona igama lami ngingulaki Charles Masilela. I'm the contemporary fine artist. Perhaps it will be maybe fitting at the infancy to define maybe why art. Why do I do what I do? Why art? So art for the longest time has been part of what we call social engineering. It's what it's used to shape societies, to shape politics, to shape the consciousness of people, right? Maybe point in case I could just cherry pick one example. At the University of Pretoria, there is a sculpture made from gold, the rhino, Mapungube rhino. The sculpture dates back to 1200 years, right? And this includes other collections that are in France and everything. But what does that tell us? It tells us that in Africa, they were able to process gold. And then if you would have studied engineering, you will know that in order to make a sculpture from gold, it means that you must extract gold from its ore to process it. That talks about the knowledge that African people had, right? And then that's still hidden from them because they have to shape that consciousness, because people rise to the level of expectations of them or the level of how you shape them to be, right? Art is used to curate culture in organizations at home. Maybe let me talk about the type of art that I do. The art that I do for me is I'm deliberate about creating an art that encourages conversations, that creates dialogue, an art that inspires audacity and a daring attitude, inspires us to lead and to be leaders. For the longest time, we would be portrayed as imposters. My art is the type of art that treats people with respect, right? To say you are good enough, you belong. It encourages uncomfortable conversations, like what? That we are here today in Cape Town, not at the Cape Golf Club, not just land mowers or caddies, but as golf players as well, which means we are equal. That's what my art does, is to say it inspires that confidence in us. It challenges the status quo, is to say we too, we belong. And then we too belong to anything that we were kept away from, consciously, that we could not be anything else. That's what my art is about, right? My art is about creating the work that does not mock our culture, like this art piece here. Ordinarily, we will be portrayed as barbarians, right? So the Ndebele piece that you see here, it's titled the Ndebele Love Letter. Why Ndebele Love Letter? Typically, we as people, we will not be thought as people who are romantic or who have an expression of love. Maybe because we express it quite differently. We don't necessarily buy flowers, but maybe our love is in a form of leadership to make sure that their home is well taken care of. Mothers are breastfeeding their children. Even at my age, I'm still breastfed by my mother, maybe not physically, but consciously. So that's what this artwork sort of represents. But that being said, much as I am an artist and I create all this work, I possess no monopoly of what the artwork I create means. Everyone can interpret it distinctly, right? So that's what my artwork does. I have no monopoly. But in the artwork that I create, my work has a spiritual dimension to it as well. Let me just quote an incident that once happened about 2 years ago. There is a lady who works for a bank. She's an executive. She commissioned an artwork. She said, "Can you just do a nice piece for me?" And then I did an artwork of a child holding a heart. And then when we submitted the artwork, unbeknownst to us, on that day it was her mother's birthday who has passed. But not only that, what she told us is that this artwork speaks to her because she cannot have children. And we didn't know that. So that's a spiritual element for it. I didn't know that. When my grandfather passed, I was asked to do a portrait of him. I struggled to complete the portrait because there was a moment when I was working on the portrait where I felt like I was resurrecting him. That's the spiritual dimension of an artwork that I do. So sometimes I will have an end in mind, but it will take me to a different direction. It will speak and evoke different emotions in people. Art encourages us to be brave, to be courageous. It separates us from animals. It's to say we can look at a piece. It shapes the culture in an organization. It arouses the consciousness of what you want to shape in the society. That's typically what my art is about. It's about encouraging audacity, leadership, and believing in ourselves. I hope you enjoy my work. Looking forward to having more fun with you. Thank you.
Okay, what I'll ask you to do is to give your cell number before we bid on this one.
Okay. This one is I'm gonna give you my direct contact numbers. This is not my manager's contact, so it's 074, but I've also left some business cards. I also have them. My contact is 074 552 9394. So if you need maybe commissions of artwork, you want us to curate something that will speak to an organization or the vision of an organization. I know there's a lot of asset managers here who collect a lot of my artworks as well. I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. So what will be the reserve price for this?
This one, the reserve will be 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start with the reserve price. My interpretation of this is a vision and a future. Okay. Is a vision and a future of women leadership. And this comes out of the story of number 43, which was championed by a woman. So this aligns with us, and more importantly, that it's a Ndebele woman. 30,000 is the starting price. Do I have a bidder? 30,000 for this piece of artwork. Do I have a bidder? Do I have a taker? Where's Bashka? He said I should start at this table. Can you please call Uncle Bashka? Uncle Bashka, which table should I call from? The starting price is 30,000 for this one. $30,000, guys. This is a beautiful painting. It tells a story. It tells your story. It almost extends the reason why we're here today. Or is 30,000 too low? $30,000. They are consulting their bankers. I can see cell phones are opening. $30,000, $30,000, $30,000. Okay, whilst I wait for the first bid, can I have an ice cream too? Come. Folks, very important artwork. Miles, there's that wall in the office that I can picture now. Eh? The one we work on, yeah. Yes. Whom are you consulting? Okay, fantastic. I'll wait. Number 43 has no wall for this painting. It doesn't have a building, it doesn't have employees. So if it gets left with number 43, we don't know what to do with it. Miles, can I give it to you whilst you consult? Okay. If there's no bidder, I will reserve this for Miles. Is the table in front happy with that? Okay. The artwork goes at 30 to Miles. There's no other taker. Thank you very much, Miles.